morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses. The Big A, Anthony Stabile, Andy Serling, coming to you from a beautiful Belmont Park as we are on the 18th day of racing here at Belmont.
It's October 15th. It's going to be close to 80 degrees today.
Yeah,
It's
it's beautiful.
gorgeous here today. It's like a summer day.
It's beautiful, I know, I agree. Anyhow, we got 9 races to talk about, including a stake race, an interesting stake race as well. We'll get right to work. Head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, the big question is what you've been waiting for. Well, you've been waiting for this. We will not only match the $200 your initial deposit, we'll give you a free $25 bet, I'm assuming, on the Breeders' Cup. Use the promo code CUP25. That Breeders' Cup will start in 21 days from today at Del Mar, Friday and Saturday, of course, November 5th and 6th. We have a $20 bonus. You bet $100 or more at Santa Anita. Got to opt in for those bonuses. Don't ever forget to opt in. What else do we have? Oh, we've got the Saturday contest. You want to get into that?
Ooh.
You've got until 5 o'clock today to sign up. $300 buy-in, all cash prizes. Go to NYRA.com/contest. And finally, America's Day at the Races, 12:30 to 5 on FS2. The gang is here. I'll be on the late shift with Greg Wolf, Maggie, Keisha and Richie up in the desk early. Anyhow, we got 9 to talk about, Anthony. Race number 1, a rider changed a mile in Stuttgart. And remember, Mom. I'm going to say one thing about this. The livest horse she's been on since she came back and rode a few races here, and that horse could be the speed, a horse that I know you've liked in the past. You have gone to Corkman for Bruce Levine.
Yes. One of these spots where these maidens, now he's only 0 for 7, but these quote-unquote professional maidens eventually find a spot where they get out of the maiden
And this is a February preview race. We should call this February preview day with this race, right? I mean, this is a winter race, let's be honest.
I think the only other horse, and you'll talk about
Well, you talk about this horse, and we'll get to the other
what
horse
else?
in a
Well, I mean,
moment.
what is there really to say? I mean, this horse has 2 or 3 figures that will beat this field.
Well,
the
not-
problem is, can you trust him?
First of all, that's not true. This horse has one dirt
The race is 2 and 3
dirt,
back.
dirt figures. We'll get to that. Dirt figures. The problem I have is, and maybe it was the wet track, that 75 buyer, and it was a legit number for the time.
Sticks out like a sore thumb.
And for judicial restraint, it was a Klarovich runner for Chad Brown. That horse is just not very good. I think won one other race with a much lower fig and then ran poorly, was claimed. And I don't even know if the horse ever showed up again. The horse did have a bit of a trip last time, a legitimate trip, and was down on the rail. It did seem like most of the running at Laurel that day was done off the rail, so I think it's possible this horse had a legit excuse. I don't have a knock on Corkman. I don't disagree with you at all. I don't agree with David's morning line here of 1 to 2 on this horse. I think that's a mistake. Did he really make that horse 1 to 2 morning line?
I mean, I don't know how you don't make the horse 3 to 5, 1 to 2.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't agree with that at all.
Well, Andy, the 1, 4, and 6.
I'm sorry. I completely and totally think David misread this race. And I think
Wow.
you're misreading this race.
Okay.
Wow. No. I'm going to disagree. I think Flight to Paradise, and we'll look at Flight to Paradise's race at Presque Isle on synthetic. And this is a 69 buyer, 3 races back. I understand. Turf, synthetic, dirt, all different surfaces, no doubt. But I'll tell you something. You look through the pedigree on this horse. This horse is related to dirt horses that could run. And I know it's a Temple City. I get it. Summer Bird Dam was not exactly, you don't see too many Summer Birds.
No, you don't.
Or Summer Bird Dams, because it wasn't really that long ago he was running.
No, you don't.
I look at this pedigree, and I'm not going to be surprised when this horse handles the dirt. And I'll tell you something. I would prefer to take this horse over the 2. And I think their odds are going to be much, much more similar than David thinks. I hope it's 3 to 1 and 1 to 2. I'm not sure I agree with him. Let me say something else. Why can't Remember Mom win this race? I mean,
I guess he can.
He's the controlling speed. You know he's fast. I mean, all Mile has to do is get him out of the gate. He didn't handle the turf, but his dirt races aren't really that bad when you take them apart. They were against some better horses. I don't see this race as 1 horse and 2 with no chance. I honestly think any of the 2, 3, and 5 can win. I am not enamored with the 2 Corkman.
Okay.
You're more confident.
I'm not
I'm not trying to put you on the
It's
spot.
impossible to be enamored in the first race today.
Right, but why are we just going to completely dismiss the 5?
We're not going to completely dismiss the 5, but it is a Temple City. I mean, there are pros and cons with the 5. I don't disagree, but I mean, it's a Temple City that hasn't dirted in 8 starts, 9. I just thought if Corkman ran the race 2 or 3 back, Corkman was going to win. You brought up the trip last time. It was the first start
No, I
since
get
December.
it. Listen, at 1 or 2, I'm glad to bet against him. I don't think it's going to be that price. I think you're going to get a better price than him. We'll see. I mean, the money now means nothing. There's no money in the pool.
Yeah, no money in the pool.
I'm surprised. Listen, if David thinks he's 1 or 2, He's probably right. He's going to be a short price.
I
He
don't
rarely
see
makes a horse
yeah,
a super
I mean,
short price.
It's hard
and he's wrong.
to, it's hard to bet. I mean, the connections of the three are, they're not going to take that much
We
money.
can move on.
Yeah.
Race number 2. We'll take a look at Lahara. And listen, I didn't want to pick Lahara in this race, and I don't blame you for picking against him. This is race at Aqueduct. This is actually the first turf racing day. Was it the first
Okay.
race or the second? These are tougher horses. Did he have a little bit of traffic? Yeah. Last time out, he got into a little bit of trouble in that race. He didn't run as well. Those are better horses than
Much.
these. I mean, remember something when he's in for 35,000. He ran for 40 first time
Yeah.
out. And I believe this is the horse that Chad Brown had said to me that they were actually going to run him for a quarter at Monmouth. He had shown him absolutely nothing.
Correct.
This horse completely surprised him when he won first time out. Sometimes you weren't wrong. It just took you were wrong, but now you're not.
Right.
It is where he belongs. It feels like it's him or something to tell you. Let me ask you a question as we go something to tell you put on top. Do you think there will be that big a disparity in their odds, 8-5 and 5-1?
No.
We could take a look at
I-
something
I
to
don't-
tell you winning 3 back.
So, I don't think there should be.
I think at 8-5 or 5-1, I'm on your side. I
Right.
would take him on top.
Yeah, I don't think there should be. Now, will there be is a different question. Yeah, I think they probably will be for the simple fact that Lahara, you and I feel like he started his career for the tag, but he is dropping. I mean, because it was the only time he was in for
Running
the tag.
where he
was his
belongs.
debut.
A
He's
5-year-old
running where he
gelding.
belongs.
Where's he going?
I mean, this
What's he
horse,
going to win some stakes?
This horse's race here, they came back and ran him in 1.25 miles. He ran into Click of That and Cold Hard Cash, who are, both
but he
more
was
than
bad.
useful.
He was bad
He was
in those
awful.
races.
He was awful last
And to
time.
be fair, and I bet him in the race that we showed, he had the absolute run of that race. That was a race with a
He
bad
did.
favorite.
He did. He did. I didn't want to take Lahara at a short price, and I do believe the prices will hold up. And I just thought it a little bit of a better price. He was a little interesting.
He's also got more speed than Lahara, which
he
could help
does.
him out here. He needs to get Manny to be aggressive with him, because otherwise you get hung up.
He's got to
no
be
speed in
He's got to
him.
be aggressive. The only other horse I can
Mr.
imagine.
Vincent.
I'll say again.
Mr. Vincent.
Well, I thought they might be a little aggressive with Blue Lou Boyle.
They could be. They should be.
His best
No,
races, his best results.
No,
anyway,
you're right.
were
He's in
when
the
he
same
was,
mix. No, you're absolutely right.
But if I'm Manny, I'm just trying to,
Well, you need to go because you want to get out. You get position
yeah, you
anyway.
don't want to get hung up here.
Right.
So, not only is the speed his best weapon, but you don't want to be hung to dry. It's only post 7 after the scratches, so it's not like he's got to do too much to get
Scratches
around
for
these horses.
MTOs.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? I mean, it looks when you look at the screen.
Can Blue Boyle win this race?
Yeah.
He was against better horses last time out. I think
Listen,
he's far from impossible, and being forward would help him.
It's starting to penetrate, Andy. There are 3 horses in this race who can show speed,
But they're not real speeds.
They're not real speeds. But if one of them
goes,
walks the dog,
the other one's
Yeah.
the other ones are advocating.
Yeah.
So who's going to make that choice?
Right.
Though
Who's
it
gonna
does
make that
seem like
choice?
around here, the races end up with the more contested paces are the ones that don't have
That
paces
don't have
on
the speed.
paper,
Yeah.
because people have decided to do something smart.
Yeah.
Race number 3. 2 days in a row with 5-horse fields with 2 betting entries. Pretty exciting. We both have the 2B, who is Malibu Luna. How convenient. Let's look at Malibu Luna. I'm going to show you a trainer stat afterwards. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like Hollywood Gina at all. I shouldn't have picked this horse.
right.
Horse has been atrocious since, Danny
Yeah.
Gargan dropped this horse for a reason.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show you a Merktan Cantermachi stat. That's the reason I picked them, but I'm hardly excited.
Yeah, I mean, again, much like the first race, I think it's kind of hard to get excited about anything in here. This horse is being taken off of Belmont on a huge drop last time. I do like the fact that we don't see this, even though we don't see this horse for 2 months. She's getting
Good.
a little
I just
bump.
like the claim stats. Good claims, dirt sprints at Naira. You got 2 of them. Let me ask you a question, though. Aren't we supposed to be scared that Charlotte Webley's going to wire the field here? Isn't the Luz supposed to just take off on this horse?
Yeah.
Her recent form
and
on
I
dirt
guess
is
that can-
atrocious.
and that's the
but-
problem, right?
But
The turf
they're all
race,
bad.
They're all bad. Yeah.
The more I,
mean,
looked at it, I felt like I probably should have put her on top. She's the controlling speed on paper. Though isn't perhaps Heman Harkey going to be aggressive with Mission Trail?
That's what I thought.
He's
I thought
usually an
maybe Mission
aggressive
Trail would
rider.
be well. And if you're not aggressive in here, I don't know where you're going to be aggressive because both parts of the one entry have no speed. I mean,
Well, Sweeter did get left last time, but she doesn't have speed.
she doesn't have any
She
speed
did get
anyway,
left last
right?
time.
I mean,
Badly left.
where
She actually ran fine last time. I could use 1s, 2s, and 5s. I don't have a strong preference.
Yeah.
I probably should with a 5 on top of a better price.
Yeah, put the best price on top, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to be overly excited about anybody in this race. Race number 4, the thing about race number 4, Anth, is you don't really want to take 0235, who lost to better horses, didn't really do that much running last time. Nyquist Nix didn't run that well in a subsequent start. This horse has run okay in races. I wonder if shorter is better for this horse. But you go through the race, and the only horse that even seems mildly interesting is Pepito, who's a half to Spanish Mission. 2 horses that won on the turf. Spanish Mission's a nice European who won our Jockey Club Derby 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
But this is a horse that sold for $17,000 despite that pedigree.
Right.
So
did take some money first time out in one of those restricted maiden races up at
first time starter.
Saratoga.
It's the right surface, but
yeah.
I can't get past that. It only paid $17,000 this horse.
Right.
He must have something about him.
Right.
That's
Obvious.
a big pedigree to
That's
pay
a
that
big
little
pedigree.
for him.
Yeah.
I think George Weaver's going to win. I prefer 0235. I didn't want to make a case for anybody else. I mean, you've got King of Hollywood second, who I have fourth. That's how desperate I was. His races are terrible.
His races are taste slow. His figures are slow. At the very least, he was a little competitive at Monmouth, and I thought his sprint at Saratoga
Very
was.
little.
Yeah, I mean, where else do you want to go? If you don't, like you said, I think there's more knocks on Pepito than there are.
I would only use 9s and 8s here. Somebody beats me.
I thought King of Hollywood was a spec interesting, but I mean, truth of the matter
fourth by
is,
default, as was open till midnight, third by default.
0235, despite the fact that
If he doesn't win here,
yeah, where are you going to find the race? Where are you going to
needs
find
to be
the
running for a tag.
Yeah, where are you going to find a special weight race for him
he needs
to
to be
win?
running for a tag if he can't win here.
Yep.
Unless Pepito freaks out.
Right.
But
unless he beats him, unless the other Weaver beats him, I would agree with that.
Very short price, but not a horse I'm looking to bet against. Race number 5. I thought a big scratch of Slow Crossing, the Rudy first-time starter.
Should be 6-2-3-7, guys.
Half too early in John's Island coming out. Why do you like No More Mischief?
I'm just going to ride that. I, to be honest with you, and this is the worst reason I like a horse, I don't like anybody else in here.
Well,
so Pletcher Firster, these Pletcher Firsters have been winning at the meet.
Not the maiden claimers. Don't you think there's something funny about a Into Mischief?
Yeah,
First-time
of
starter
course.
sold for $95,000.
Absolutely.
I mean,
that's in for 40 first time out. Yeah,
they're paying $600 for Into Mischiefs,
Yeah.
right, with regularity.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Unless you want to get clever though with Pacific Groove or
I do.
Okay.
I do.
All right.
I think Pacific Brew is very dangerous in here. Comes out of a real race, chased a legitimate pace, gets blinkers on. Supposed to be forward in this race. I think makes a lot of sense. I doubt we'll get the 8-1 morning line.
Right.
Comes down a little bit. I imagine the Ed Slow Crossing is a shorter price,
Right.
so maybe 6-1. But I doubt you'll get that either. Next Tuesday's had a lot of chances, but only 2 on the dirt. And you're supposed to like next
Never had a
Tuesday.
fast
Your
track.
company's never been a fast dry dirt track.
Never been on a fast
First
track.
race, you did lose to Mainstay, or she lost to Mainstay, who's pretty good. She got drowned, but third horse came back to run respectively, running third in the subsequent race she ran in. Though that horse did have trouble in the debut. I'm 2s and 3s here. Can No More Mischief win? Yes, but I'm not just defaulting to this horse. How did Todd's First are doing yesterday's New York bred race?
No.
Horse didn't run a step.
Yeah.
Ran to the stat, right? Stat's now 1 for 16. General, I stay away. That's the first 5. The late pick 4 after a quick break.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com.
Anthony Stabile, Andy Serling on a gorgeous Friday here at Belmont, race number 6 at 1 mile and 1/4. We'll take a look at the Pruning Sitting Pretty race. I'm curious, why would you take Pruning over Sitting Pretty in this race? Didn't Sitting Pretty have the much tougher trip? Sitting Pretty had to fight around for room the entire running in the stretch, where Pruning, I thought, had a very clean trip inside and just hung.
I thought about it. I thought
one
about
or
it
the other. I don't think it's close between the two of them.
I thought
frankly.
about it for a little bit. I think off that trip, though, Sitting Pretty is just going to take a ridiculous amount of money today. And I thought the other filly ran well
It wasn't
enough.
that big a trip, but was a tougher trip than the one that Pruning had.
Right. I think Sitting Pretty is going to take a ridiculous amount of money today. And she
I
can
don't.
win. Okay. She can win.
It's the horse to beat. For what it's worth, there's a good argument that all the fractions and final times are a few seconds wrong in that race. It was a faster pace and a faster race. Don't know what exactly means. I'm sure the buyer is based on the more realistic time.
I wanted to pick Mescal.
Why didn't you?
Well,
Why do you like Pruning? Why don't you tell us why you like Pruning first, and then we'll say why you.
it was
you
kind
were
of a
gonna
little bit of a, I know the favorite, morning line favorite, had a little bit of a tougher trip than Pruning did last time. But I just thought, like, I felt like she was just improving. I thought the added ground would be something. I don't know if she's going to appreciate it. I don't know if it's going to really matter too much with her. And I think
Shouldn't the added ground actually help the daughter of Empire Maker more than the daughter of Uncle Mo?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
yeah,
certainly not going to hurt.
Yeah.
So the added ground seems to be a bad
I
argument
felt like
to
I
use,
felt like
or
I
a good
felt
argument
like
to use picking
Pruning,
against her.
I felt like Pruning would be. I like her overall body of work better. I
Really?
think she's just. Yeah, I think she's
You like
just.
the race
I
at
think
Colonial in
she's. I
Delaware?
think she's improving. I think she's improving. You see this a lot from these Shug maidens. They get a little bit better with some
We
experience.
disagree here. I think
Yeah.
City Pretty is 1,000 times more likely to win than she is.
Okay.
You know, Blue Times is probably the speed in this race. Mescal just got an atrocious ride from Flavian Pratt last time, and I
See,
think
I thought
Flavian,
Mescal was the speed. I thought Mescal, if Arad wanted to go, I thought Mescal could be in front
No,
of
the
Blue Times.
The four is faster.
Okay.
And Vargas will go. And Danny Gargan will go. Regardless of that, I mean, Mescal could be, I guess, but I don't know if she'll be. I mean, she'll be more aggressive. It was just an atrocious ride last time. She was the controlling speed in this race, and it was an inside track that
Never
had
saw
a
the pa-
huge
never saw the-
advantage.
never
and
saw
he just
anything
whipped
close
her
to the lead.
face off and ripped her off
Yeah.
the lead, and she was never on the rail. It was a really, really horrible. I don't know if find it hard to believe that Todd Pletcher gave those instructions, because Todd is pretty
very
acutely aware
curious
of
ride.
racetracks.
Yeah.
And this horse actually ran very well in the debut, involved in a very, very fast pace. And then last time was just given no chance with that ride. I think I actually, did I write down? I have the actual, no, I wrote them down for, I thought I wrote down the actual times for that race. It was a it's in my office because Miss Bonnie T is back in on
Sunday.
Tomorrow. Last race tomorrow.
Sunday.
Yeah.
She's on Sunday.
She's in the last race on Sunday?
I think so.
Yeah, I think I had a few races. I made picks for that race. Okay. Anyway, I think Mescal is good. I thought she ran very well two back. I thought she got a terrible ride and compromising trip last time out and still ran fine. I prefer him. I'm not sure how strong. I think that 10th race was September 3rd. I think the Sitting Pretty is far and away the one you want out of that race.
Okay.
Peace Be the Journey interests me a little bit in this race. I know she looks ridiculous, but Mike Maker claiming this horse and stretching out to a mile and a quarter, I have to respect that a little bit. I know this horse did not run well in the race where the others are coming out of, but I thought the switch perhaps to Mike Maker could improve this horse, and I want to use that horse a little bit as a fuzzy. You like a 6. I disagree with you. Race number 7, the Glen Cove, comes up.
Fun race, huh?
It's a very, very good race. And, you know, I bet Baystorm last time out. To me, oddly enough, the horse you're probably supposed to be betting out of that race is Honey Pants as we take a look at it, because while Baystorm and the runner-up Caldi were right on the gold rail, Honey Pants was wide in that race. 2-3 wide around the track, and they're off the rail, and she was compromised. So I would kind of cut her a little slack and think she's an interesting horse to use. For people wondering what the more accurate times were for that race, according to Trackus, 21:84, 44:47, 56:01, and 17:96. So it was a reasonable pace, but I think that Baystorm really benefited from being on the rail last time out, and it dressed her up a bit. Do I think she's the horse to beat? Yes, but I think she's dressed up by that last race, and I don't think you're getting 3-1.
I feel like she will be all of the 3-1 because there's just
I'll
there
take
are so many
790 and
horses.
below for a lunch.
All right, let's do that. This is a. I probably shouldn't have picked the morning line favorite when I think a half a dozen fillies can win.
That's correct. We've had this discussion.
We've had this discussion, but I do believe that, and I know she was aided by the inside. She's another one. I feel like she is improving. And I feel like, her speed gives her an edge over some of these other fillies,
Well,
even
is she
going
im-
to 7.
Is she improving, or was her last race very much a function of the racetrack? Maybe a
But even
combination.
even if
thereof.
it was, do you think it was a 12 point? You know what I mean? Like
No, but I think it was probably mid-80s.
Okay,
And I think it
so
makes her
but she's still improving,
more
right? I know
competitive.
what
Yeah,
you're saying.
I think she's fine. I picked
Yeah.
her second. I'm not dramatically against her, but I think at a short price she's a bet against. I don't know who you're looking at. You think is going to make her a bigger price, but maybe I'm wrong in here.
I just think the money's got to be spread around. I just think there's too many of these fillies have a
So
chance
sure,
to
I
win.
agree. I think you're going to see a blowout win in that race over 3 horses, and people are going to latch onto this horse, and maybe they should. I like Invisible Gal in here. We'll go back actually 4 starts. The Soaring Softly. It's day 7 furlong distance, where I thought she ran very, very well. This was a race that was pretty much dominated by forward horses, and so my man Trevor McCarthy was still here. Miss Trevor, he's doing well. They won that case. Where she's on the far outside here. I thought she ran very well to be second. And then, not surprisingly, Grand Motion was stretching her out more. Those are the races that are really available for her. But the reality is, I think she's probably better going a little bit shorter. The Virginia Oaks is coming up, a decent enough race. She ran okay to be second there, but I think a cutback in distance is going to suit her very well. And I like Invisible Gal in this spot. I think she's a very, very dangerous player in here.
I think she's
her at all.
I think she's gonna be the one that takes a lot of money.
Yeah, you're usually wrong about that, though. You do realize that.
I do, but
I got
I-
4 to
but-
1 on that horse in the 7th race.
That was
It's
ridiculous.
a lot of money.
That was ridiculous.
Well, not as ridiculous as you leaving out of the top 4,
Well,
but
you might be right, but that was ridiculous.
I'm
that
definitely
horse was
right.
that price.
But I agree. I can't believe the horse was 4 to
Can't
1,
believe the
switching
horse was
Jose
that
Ortiz in that race. I like her. I don't think she's going to be a huge price. I think Haldeal takes some money in this race.
And she should. I want to mess with this pork. I want to use some Porqué Nose today.
Why?
Because I think Porqué Nose is going to benefit from the cutback from the 1 1/8. I like her going the 1 turn, going to 7/8. I think she's going to be. She's not going to be on the lead, obviously, but she'll be forward enough where I think she'll be in striking distance. She's kept some good company. I mean, she handles Shanta Sara very easily in the Boiling Springs.
Sara has dramatically improved. since that
Well,
race.
yeah, I mean, but
And she
still,
also at a ridiculously slow pace.
she did. I think the 7/8 is going to hit her right between the eyes, and I think she can get a piece of this at a big price.
Okay.
And she'll
She's a big
she'll
price.
get ignored. She'll be 20 to 1.
I think the 12 is the horse that's interesting at a big price in this race. I'm also not going to dismiss Always Late in here.
Me either.
I do think there's a possibility that Fig last time came up a little on the high side, but it's important to note that this horse never saw the rail in here. Was a legitimate 3 wide in this race, and this was on closing day at Kentucky Downs, where you really had to be saving ground to be most effective. Toby's Heart comes right up the inside under Joel Rosario, and Always Late was on the outside. Now, the horse who ran third would be 100,000 to 1 in this race.
Right.
So that's a little bit of a concern. You say right, like you were absolutely sure of that. But maybe she's improving, and maybe she's improving getting less distance.
Well,
She
her
didn't-
last 2 races, I mean, you could argue her last 2 races have been her best races.
Well, I mean, I don't know how great her race was 2 back. She ran okay in there. I'm not convinced, but I think there's a chance that she's improving, and I want to bet a horse that was against the track in her last race, so I'm going to use her. But I'm going to use the 5 and try to get the 12 Honey Pants in there. I was against it. I think you should throw her in. What about Mr. Karras? Do you think she's a horse that's a little interesting in here?
Yeah, Mr. Carlos won her debut going 6.
Lost to older horses
I don't
last.
know.
She lost to older horses last
Yeah,
time
last
out.
couple of times she faced the last
Though,
3 starts she faced older
For
horses.
what it's worth, I think it's worth noting that her best races have come with a little give in the ground. And this course has gotten really, really
December
firm.
at
I mean, this is
Aqueduct.
as firm as you'll ever see a
As your-
course at Belmont in the middle of October. Not only have we had no rain, but it's been really
been
warm.
warm.
I mean, it's really
Yeah.
summer-type weather.
Yeah.
Even though there's a couple of showers predicted tomorrow, it's not going to be an issue because
Not going to be till late in the day. It's like after 3 o'clock, I think. Yeah.
Honey,
I guess, I think my issue with her is save her debut fig. Her bigger figs have come when they stretched her out. But I guess cutting back should
that's
be
fair.
okay.
I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair. It's a mile. It's a 7 furlong race. That doesn't
understand
matter.
that.
Last race was a mile. It makes no difference. Race number 8. Kind of put these replays in the wrong order. So we'll start, though, with the 2 horses, Patty H and Easy to Bless, who are 2 extremely cool horses, right?
Yeah.
You've got Easy to Bless, who's won 5 of her last 6 with a second in this race. You've got Patty H before the last race had won 4 of 5, including Easy to Bless here. The problem is, and I do respect Mike Maselli off the claim with Patty H, a second off a claim, and she did duel last time with the horse finished last at 20 to 1. This is a tougher spot. The 2 outside horses may be better than they are.
Yeah, this is a tougher spot. But they both have license to. I think they both have license, and like you said, they're cool horses. This was another race where I chalked out a little bit in here.
Well, you picked a horse on top who may win, who's going to be a very, very short price in
Yeah.
Whispering Pines. And we'll look at, I think I'm going to go back to her race last
The
time.
Shining. Oh, last time.
No,
Okay.
last time. She finished second to Union Maiden, a Chad Brown horse off a long layoff. She got a big fig. I'm going to be honest with you. I think she starts to come apart a little bit when you start taking the races apart. I don't love the horses she was running against. I know she was fourth behind Bayerness. There was nobody behind her in there. She's gotten some big figs. I agree. She runs a mid-80 Beyer. She's probably going to win. I want to see it to believe it. I think
she's
has
done
to.
it enough, Andy.
Maybe.
I
No,
think
I'm
she's
not. I
done
don't-
it enough
well,
where
we'll see. Midtown Rose she handled. You like her in the spot?
No, I wouldn't.
So
I wouldn't.
she's probably the worst to beat. I like Union Gables. Todd took a shot and tried her on the turf last time. Enough of the turf. She had run well enough in the Matron. I can't blame him for taking a shot. I think her race 2 back in Monmouth makes her absolutely the second likeliest winner of this race. I thought her race 2 back in Monmouth was a very, very good effort. I want to bet you 2 lunches. I want to bet 1 lunch 5 against 1 and 1 lunch 5 against 2.
Sure.
All right.
We could do that.
Because I think you're underrating this horse.
Okay.
What do you have against her?
I don't have anything necessarily
Wasn't
against
she kind
her.
of cut out to be okay?
Yeah, she
and
was.
Maybe Todd Pletcher is finally getting her to sort of come around, and dirt sprinting is really what she wants to do.
I mean, I don't like the fact that she had to go to Monmouth to get out of the A of the N.
Well, she ran a big race.
She did.
That fig is very, very legit if you look it up.
She did.
So what if it's at Monmouth? Maybe she'll run faster. We can use the crop here.
Maybe she will.
I think she's very dangerous. I think she's going to be sitting in a good spot tactically in this race, and I'm going to try to beat the 4. I'm betting on Union Gables today.
Okay.
Race number 9. Before we show any replays, I am dying to hear why you've come up with the same horse as me, and don't show the replay.
You picked this horse too?
Well, I picked this horse and told you I picked it on the turf when it got rained off last time out. But why did you pick this
I
horse?
don't remember this.
Okay. Why did you pick this horse? I'm dying to hear.
What's the problem? Why is there so much
I want
animosity?
you to tell me why you picked this horse. Because when I saw you pick this horse, I was thinking, I can't wait to hear why you
So
like
after
this
the
horse.
race last time, there was a lot of the barn was not the barn was very upset.
Okay, so this is a barn story.
It's a little bit of a tip, and I just kind of remembered
it's a
from the
tip. That's fine.
from the turf time.
Okay,
Yeah,
you didn't remember it. You remember the barn being annoyed.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to show you the race. You can watch it. Yeah, this was Hector's a nice kid, and he's a decent rider. This was a bad ride. He just continued to lose position with this horse. He was throttling him when he should have been moving forward with him, and this is a horse that could have run much, much better. You're seeing it here. He's completely bottled up. He's losing position right now. It's like, guy, and it's hard. I understand. But he just gets this horse nothing but trouble. Right here, he gets completely steadied. He loses. He falls back to almost to last. He's almost dead last
Yeah.
here at this point. And yet, despite all this foolishness,
Keeps
this
going
horse
forward.
keeps going forward after this. This is a poor ride. And he was entered in it was a tougher spot when it got rained off last time out. So he's in an easier spot today. Yes, I understand why they're frustrated. Now, they're dropping him in for $30,000, which is a little bit of a concern. Maybe they're trying to cash a bet, but he is a New York bred with a non-winners of 1 left. So you do have to wonder about that
Yeah,
a little bit.
but
Because
you want to try and win. You want to win.
But he did get a ridiculous trip in there, and his horse is worth using. I think Countdown is dangerous to wire the field in here, by the way. I know he looks bad, but he's coming out of a race that completely collapsed last time, and I think he's better shorter, and he's very dangerous to wire the field because Chrome Dixie will take a look at his race.
I like the rider change to Lascano one, by the way, too, because I don't think Arad fit that horse. Countdown last time kind of, was I don't want to say was fighting him, but Jose's going to let him use his speed today.
Well, you let him use his speed last time, Anthony, and that's why he blew up. So I think that's a little unfair, but we'll agree to disagree. Hey, he ran second to Scacciatore last time. I'm not going to knock this performance. He's okay. Probably less distance will help. My problem with Chrome Dixie, though, is that he's dropping significantly off an atrocious performance for a trainer whose numbers are not particularly strong when they're going in first time for a tag on the turf at Naira. And I think, yes, if he runs this race, he's going to be dangerous in here.
But off his last race, you can't be confident.
He
confident
drops,
in
and this is a bad number for Christophe. It's under 20% with horses that are $6 horses, and for sort of him, he's going to be in the 5 to 2 range,
Yeah.
probably cheaper, and they're just not winning enough to justify it. So yeah, would I use them? Yes, but do I want to bet against them? Yes.
In a win pool, you want to bet against them. Absolutely. In the top spot, you want to use against them. If you bet and pick 4s, pick 5s, you probably need to use him because he has 2 or 3 races that make him competitive, especially that race 2 back. But yeah, he was a horse that I would.
Well,
I want to take
propensity
a
off
little.
a 2,000-year layoff.
I don't know what to do with him. I didn't know what to do. I put him 4th. Like
He's
you
the
did.
last trainer we saw. We were leaving yesterday. Does that?
No, it doesn't count. It's today. It's got to be today. I didn't see anybody today. I mean, he has races
He's good enough
too,
to
right?
win.
Yeah.
It's just these layoffs are so
The layoffs,
hard,
yeah.
especially when you see a claim in that kind of layoff. It always really kind of worries me. We'll
Me
see
too.
what happens in race number 9. Thanks, Anthony. Beautiful day. Come and join us. Nice weekend of racing coming up. The Sands Point tomorrow. Camp an interesting race as well. Head over to Naira Bets. If you are not a member of Naira Bets, the big question is, what the heck are you waiting for? Get a free $25 play. This is what you're waiting for. The free $25
You answered your own
Breeders'
question.
Cup bet, along with a $200 match bonus. Go to NairaBets.com for more information. Bet $100 or more at Santa Anita. If you've opted in, you get a $20 bonus. You can listen to the dulcet tones of our good pal and great race caller, Frank Miramati. Belmont Saturday contest, you've got a little over 5 hours. $300 buy-in. A lot of fun, those contests. Naira.com/contest. All live money. And finally, last but not least, FS2, 12:30 to 5, covering all the action today from Belmont Park with the usual cast of characters. Hope you enjoy your day, Anthony. Hope you enjoy your day as well.
See you tomorrow.
Johnny I will do. Johnny I up next, the reprise of Scratches and Changes.